Hello everyone, this is Jimmy TV and welcome to the video. So, in this one, we will be looking at 5 of the richest people in old school RuneScape history, including the richest Ironman and Hardcore Ironman accounts. So, in the last part, we looked at some of the richest players in RuneScape 3, notably Chessie with 6.7 trillion GP, and also Mmorpgrs or Brandon Fisher, who has at least 26 trillion RSGP. For this one, we'll be focusing solely on OSRS, but we will not be including the recent massive banks seen in the RuneScape Chronicles video. Now this was due to bugs and exploits in the Soul Wars game, and he was able to show off over 500 billion GP. Or of course, the recent account featured in the Sparc video, where another scam had taken place, but this time on RuneScape 3, where one player managed to amass 25 trillion GP in just 2 hours. So, with all of that being said, let's proceed with the video. I really hope you enjoy. And first up is Curtis Porter, better known as mmorpgrs. He is an old school RuneScape YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and he has won 2 Golden Gnome Awards in his RuneScape career. In 2017, he got maximum total level on his Ironman account, and that very account is the one we'll be looking at in this video. So, he regularly posts a yearly bank video on his YouTube channel, showing off his wealth, and we will be looking at his most recent bank video, which is currently the biggest Ironman bank that we know of on OSRS so far. As he's scrolling through, you can see the massive collections that he has managed to amass on this character through years and years of slaying, bossing, minigames, clue scrolls, and all of that while streaming to thousands of viewers on Twitch. And this level of dedication to the game generates exceedingly large amounts of wealth, has managed to make him the richest Ironman in OSRS, or at least the richest that we know of that's actually willing to show off their bank in a video. So, in a couple of seconds, we'll move towards the final main tab of the bank, and we can see he's worth 25 billion GP, which is absolutely insane for an IM account. I mean, me personally, I have about 25 times less than that on my normal unrestricted account. Okay, and next up is Alkanrs, also known as Number 1 Boss and Gains. Now he is a Canadian content creator and is also very popular on YouTube and Twitch. He is extremely dedicated to the game and has managed to max multiple accounts on both RuneScape 3 and OSRS. But for the purposes of this video, we will be focusing on his Hardcore Ironman Number 1 base, or BAS. We'll go with base. Now this account, of course, has 2277 total level, the max in old school RuneScape, with 475 million total XP, and currently rank 3 in the overall high scores. And what we'll be looking at here is his recent bank video posted to his YouTube channel, where he's showing off 10 billion GP on his Hardcore Ironman, an extremely impressive amount of wealth that he's managed to acquire, whilst getting the max possible total level in a pretty short amount of time, becoming rank 3 on the high scores, and also running a YouTube channel and streaming live on Twitch. It really goes to show what you can achieve if you put the hours in. And as an added little bonus here, we'll also be taking a quick look at one of his other accounts, a regular Ironman, who also has a 10 billion GP bank, putting him at 20 billion total over 2 very restricted accounts. Awesome to see. And the third account I'm featuring in this video, Beat It Down. Now, this bank has featured in one of my previous videos from a few years back. I got a few details wrong, and I wanted to clear that up here in this video, and make sure I have the correct facts and information. So, this video was actually posted to YouTube in 2016. Now before, in the previous video, I said that it was 2014, which was only 1 year after Old School RuneScape's release, which would have just been very, very improbable, practically impossible for someone to have a bank like this, with these sort of collections and items from various bosses throughout the game. And yeah, as you can see, as you've been scrolling through the tabs, it's really, really impressive collection, and an insanely high amount of GP, even for 2016. It's estimated that Beat It Down had around 17 to 18 billion GP in 2016, and also had a second character with around 4 billion GP, putting the total at 21 billion, but 6.5 years ago it would be worth roughly 85 to 90 billion in today's economy. And next up is a 2-for-1. Two OSRS accounts owned by the same person who both carry a vast amount of wealth, and it's really quite incredible to see the amount of money that people used to make from high roller staking in the old duel arena. And we begin with God Faden, who has 2 Arcanes, 2 Elysians, a couple of sets of Third Age, a couple of God Swords, a max cash stack, and 100 billion GP in platinum tokens. So even on its own, this would be enough, you know. What more do you need than 100 bill? But of course, as you already know, I mentioned this is a 2-for-1. So the same person that owns this account also has his main character, BTC, which you may have seen before in a previous video. Now, from what I've read, the majority of this wealth has come solely from staking in the duel arena, when it still existed. And of course, everyone knows about the kind of huge profits people were making there, but of course, most people end up losing their whole bank before they get to this level of wealth. I don't know if he's unlocked the key secret method to winning every single stake, or whether he's just got lucky, or maybe by now, he has lost it all. I guess we'll never know. So, to summarise, the net worth of God Faden is roughly 105 billion GP, and for his main, BTCs, it's around 116 billion GP. So the total, 221 billion OSRS GP. Wow. And next, I have a few honourable mentions I'd like to make before we get to the number 1 spot on the list. First up being Burr, with 113 Elysian Spirit Shields. Now, have you ever seen a single account with that many? I highly doubt it. And this is obviously another high risk staker at the duel arena. Now, in the image it says they're worth 37 billion GP, but they're considerably more expensive than that now, sitting at around 570 million each. At one point they were almost 1 billion each, but they've dropped considerably since then. Still, this collection of 113 is worth roughly 64.4 billion GP in today's prices. And the second honourable mention is Fishy. Yes, a controversial character in the RuneScape scene, who has certainly faked accounts and wealth in the past, but as far as we know, this account on Deadman mode is completely legit, and it had a net worth of roughly 600 mil, which, if you know anything about Deadman mode, is extremely impressive. Really cool to see, and I thought it deserved a mention here. And finally, Oak Dice. Now, perhaps not so famous a character within the RuneScape or YouTube scene, but he's a fairly popular content creator. He's been around for a while, and I'm sure most of you have seen some of his stuff before. Now, he has not actually released a full bank video or any info on exactly how much he's worth, but he's been a long time hoarder and collector on RuneScape, and also owns a swapping shop. So if he ever does release a bank video, it could be somewhere closer to 1 trillion GP. Come on, Oak Dice, give us the goods. Okay, and now we have finally reached to the last account that I'm featuring in this video, and some of you will not be surprised to hear it's Tim Mavis, more commonly known as Sparc Mac. Of course, Sparky doesn't need too much of an introduction, you all know him, and he is actually one of the very first RuneScape YouTubers, along with Chris Archie. They both started their channels way back in 2006, which was actually a whole 17 years ago. Damn, makes me feel old, man. So, we'll be looking at his bank video, which was posted back in 2019, and is probably the most impressive and most well organised, huge bank you will ever see in OSRS. Some of these collections almost make it look like a private server, but I can assure you, this is not a private server. This is real RuneScape, and Tim has just gone to absolutely insane levels of item collection, and this here, the Rune tab, is one of my favourite sites in the game. A fairly nerdy thing to say, I'm sure, but hey, those pixels look pretty good. And moving back to the main tab, where the majority of his wealth sits, you can see there all of his Third Age, the platinum tokens, and tons more. When this was posted in 2019, it was worth roughly 176 billion GP, but to account for inflation, now in 2023, it would be worth roughly 235 billion GP, making him the owner of the biggest bank in old school RuneScape that we have seen so far. So there you have it. Those were 5 of the richest people in old school RuneScape's history. If you made it to the end, then a like will be much appreciated, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you all take care and have a great day.